Hey guys, Preston here, and we're going to be talking about the trade deadline and how that might affect the New York Yankees. As of now, on July 29th, the deadline is 2 days away, and Yankees are on the possibility of getting someone. But to cut to the chase, I don't think they're going to get anyone because right as of now, the only piece of a team that they would need would be bullpen and starting pitching. Neither of which I think they really need. If you look at the stats right here, Michael Pineda, he's been iffy as of late. As of now, he sits around like a 4 ERA, 9.7 record, so he's pretty much fine. The Yankees don't really need to touch him. See, Sabathia, he's been okay. He had a really rough start to the year, but he has had a couple like back-to-backs, really good starts. So I don't know if the Yankees would really replace him. I don't think it's really an option. And then you got Evaldi, who's been really on fire lately. He's 10-2, 4.27 ERA, and that's after he gave up like 8 runs against the Marlins in like less than an inning. And then you got Masahiro Tanaka. He's been doing average as of late, but that's all they really need to do. And of course, they got Nova, who's been pretty good coming back from Tommy John surgery. So those stars I mentioned, they don't really need to be switched around too much. As long as they can go 5, 6, maybe even 7 innings, I think they'll be fine with that. And then when you go to the bullpen, you got Wilson, Shreve, Betances, Miller. Those are the 4 key guys in the rotation that really hold it together. So I guess you can add maybe one part to it, maybe, because Shreve, Wilson, and Miller are all lefties. So maybe add another righty right there. But for the most part, Miller, Betances have been unhittable. Same thing with Shreve. He's been really coming really good as of late. And same thing with Wilson. Those 4 key guys are pretty much the best, one of the best rotations in baseball as of now. So we'll see how that goes from there. Hitting wise, I don't think they can really get any better than this. I mean, you have A-Rod DHing, you have Ellsbury and Gardner top of the line. They've been doing pretty good over the past couple of games. And then you got McCann catching, Teixeira first base. Maybe a second baseman would be nice because Steven Drew is, well, he's iffy. Well, he has 13 home runs, 28 RBIs, but he's batting 187 with a 261 on base percentage. Just not good numbers. That's the only position I think the Yankees would actually consider going for, because pretty much everything else. I mean, Chris Young, backup, pretty good. John Ryan Murphy, pretty good. So I think they're pretty good when it comes to that. Maybe second base. That's the only position that's a little bit scary. And the only people I could see maybe the Yankees would get would be either David Price, who's having a really good year, and Jeff Samardzija, who's having an iffy year. Those are the only 2 I can see the Yankees getting, or even Mike Leakey at that point. But for the most part, I don't think they will, because they have some really nice prospects coming up soon. With Luis Severino, Aaron Judge, and Greg Bird, all 3 of them should be coming up in the next year or 2. Pretty much. And also Gary Sanchez, because Gary Sanchez moved up to AAA recently, so he's working his way up. So if you look at the, also Mike Leakey, he's having a really good year. And then that's, yeah, he's young. I guess that's the only other person I could see the Yankees getting for starting pitching wise. Because if you look at Luis Severino's now, we're 6-0 with a 2.11 ERA and 55 innings pitched. He started the year in AA. So I don't see the Yankees trading him. He's definitely coming up next year. He's proven himself. And then you got Aaron Judge and Greg Bird, who moved up from AA. Judge is hitting pretty good. He has 26 hits. He has 2 home runs, 11 RBIs in only 24 games. And Bird is pretty much similar, 21 games. He has 21 hits, 3 home runs, and 11 RBIs, batting around 256. Aaron Judge is batting 289, so those are pretty good numbers so far, and they're only bound to get better as the year goes on. So I don't see the Yankees trading those 3. Even Gary Sanchez, I mean, he's finally coming into his own. I mean, he was struggling last year or 2, but he's starting to pick it back up. So those 4 players, I don't see the Yankees really trading them since they finally have some good prospects. I mean, it's been a while since the Yankees prospects have actually performed, since the core 4. Haven't really been too many. I guess you can say maybe Phil Hughes, Jabba Chamberlain, and Ian Kennedy. Those were 3 pretty good pitchers right there when they first came up. But I think, yeah, all of them are gone. Ian Kennedy's on the Padres, Chamberlain's on the Tigers, but he got released. I don't know if he's on the team anymore. And Hughes is on the Twins. He's having pretty good success there. So not too many prospects have really came up from the Yankee system. I don't see the Yankees really trading any one of them. Maybe if they had like a mid-level prospect, they would maybe trade for David Price is too high. Maybe Jeff Samardzija. I could see them getting Jeff Samardzija as maybe a starting pitcher. It would depend if any of the starting pitchers for the Yankees were struggling or any of them got hurt. I mean, I think like 3 or 4/5 of the rotation was injured last year due to injury for the Yankees, and they still held up right there. So I could see them maybe getting a long man in the rotation that's a righty, or something like that. That's the only thing I can see the Yankees getting in a trade line. They're definitely going to get someone, just not maybe like a top tier person, like how the Toronto Blue Jays and the Rockies traded away they switched Tulowitzki and Reyes. I don't really see a trade like that, or how the Royals got Cueto and they got Ben Zobrist. I don't see that kind of trade happening. I see like a small little trade happening for the Yankees, but not too much on the big side because they're pretty much set. They're, I think, like 7 games in first place as of now. I'm checking, and they are. Wait, they're above the Orioles definitely. Yeah, they're 7 games above in the lead in the AL East. They're 57-42, and the Orioles, they're close to the Yankees. They're 50-49. So that's a pretty big gap right there. And the Rays right below the Orioles, 51-51, Blue Jays 50-51, and Red Sox, yes, the Red Sox 44-57. So they're pretty much good. Yankees are they've won 8 out of their last 10 games. And most of their games are home anyway, and they're 30-17 at home. Away, it's a little bit shaky. So that's pretty much it for that. Come to the conclusion, Yankees don't really need anyone, but another starting pitcher or bullpen will be nice. Maybe even second baseman. I think they can get a second baseman, maybe. So other than that, I don't really see the Yankees even getting anyone for the trade deadline. Unlike last year, they traded Kelly Johnson for Stephen Drew, and they got Martin Prado for P. O'Brien. P. O'Brien's doing really good. If you guys looked at it late, so I wish the Yankees would have kept Pete O'Brien. He was a really good power hitting catcher, and he's doing really good now. I think he's in the AAA system for the Diamondbacks. Yeah, he's doing really good. 17 home runs for 69 RBIs, batting .271. Pretty good numbers. So I wish the Yankees wouldn't have traded him. He could have been also a key prospect that the Yankees would keep. And that's pretty much it for this video right here. As you can see, overall, Yankees, they could use someone, but I don't think they really need to trade any of their prospects away for a better player, because right now what they're doing now is doing really good, and their odds have moved up drastically for the World Series. So that's pretty much it for me, guys. So I'm Matt Person. I'll see you guys later. So see ya.